Hey guys, and welcome back to Versus Hearthstone, where this time, instead of just playing a game and having me comment through it, we are going to be analyzing a game, looking at some general principles of Hearthstone. The main principle being making good decisions when you're playing your cards, because that's one of the biggest things that happens in Hearthstone is you can have a deck full of stuff, and making one bad decision early on can actually cost you the game later. Like, you wouldn't even notice it at first. You would just play something and then be like, oh, okay, well, that didn't work out right now, and then not realize that it kind of made a snowball effect, and that's why you ended up losing. So I played a few games, and now we're going to analyze them and see if I made the good decisions or not. So here we go.
Thrall versus Garrosh. Victory or death for Doomhammer.
Okay, so the matchup is my Shaman versus a Warrior deck. And the reason why I picked Shaman is because it's out of all the heroes, it's usually the one that's the hardest to win with consistently. So you have to be very vigilant on which cards you pick and which cards you use and how to use them and when to use your hero power effectively in order for you to win. At least that's how it works out for me. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are like, "Oh no, no, it's really easy to use the shaman." Well, it's not for me. So, that's why I ended up picking it. So, the first thing that we're going to go to here with decisions is, as you can see, I'm going first. So that means I only get 3 cards and I don't get a coin. So we have to look at the cards, and I have a Hex, a Gadgetin, Auctioneer, and a Rockbiter weapon. Now, all of the one is a removal, one is 5 mana draw card, and then one is a buff for another minion card. So the crowd control is sort of nice, but since I'm going first, not necessarily needed. The Gadgetzan, way too high a mana cost. I want something immediate that I can put out. So I probably need to get rid of that. And then the Rockbiter weapon, well, I don't have anything that I'd be able to play with it right now except my hero, and that feel to me that's kind of a waste. So I think in this situation it's best just to get rid of all 3 of these and then hope that I get something better. Okay, as you can see, I ended up getting rid of the Gadget and Auctioneer and the Hex, and I kept the Rockbiter weapon. And in return, I got a Flame Elemental and a Spellbreaker. See, this is where future present me disagrees with past me. I should have gotten rid of the Rockbiter weapon too, and I hope that I got another card because, as you can see now, I can either just use this on myself to attack, or maybe I think at the time maybe I was thinking maybe I could just use my hero ability and then put a Rockbiter weapon on it and attack. But really, I probably should have got rid of the Rockbiter weapon too. Okay, let's see how we do in turn 1. Okay, so turn 1 seemed very uneventful, but already I'm downloading a little bit of information about this guy. Now, what he should know about me is I didn't have any 1 mana cards that I could throw out right then, which doesn't really say a lot. But on my end, what I'm thinking is, okay, he doesn't have any 1 or 2 mana cards that he wants to use right away, and he doesn't feel any pressure for me since I don't have anything on the board, so he didn't feel that he needed to use his coin in order to armor up to mitigate any sort of incoming damage. So after that, I would probably feel a little bit more comfortable. So especially for the fact that now on turn 2, the random totem that I brought out is a taunt totem. So this puts a little bit of pressure on the guy where he's going to need something eventually to get through that taunt totem, because by turn 3, we should be seeing something come out on the board from both of us. And what I'm thinking is by turn three, if he doesn't bring out any cards whatsoever, then he's using some sort of aggro deck that usually involves him bringing out a lot of weaponry and armoring up in order for him to win. This play is fairly obvious. I mean, he had 2 mana, so he's either going to play two 1 mana cards, a 1 mana card that he might have just gotten, or he's going to have to armor up. By him armoring up, and me only having a taunt with no attack out, that tells me he just didn't have anything that he needed to play. Okay, and now for turn three, we're actually at my first major decision for this match. So I have 3 mana, and I have a couple options. I can either use 2 mana to bust out another random totem, which can either give me a plus spell power, plus attack, or a healing totem. I have my rock batter weapon, so I could put that on my current taunt and just straight attack him this round. Or I can put out my flame tongue totem, which will increase the attack on my taunt totem and any other totem that I put on the other side, +1 or +2 attack. And then I could also use my rock biter weapon, which would actually add more attack to it, so I could basically just do 5 damage right now. Or I could roll the dice. Thinking about it, the best thing would probably be to put out the flame tongue weapon and then rock biter it and then just hit the warrior, because at that point that's forcing him to try to play some sort of cards at that point, or else he's going to be threatened with constantly getting hit with my taunt totem. So it's kind of forcing him to play at my pace, which is what I want. Okay, so it looks like I chose a Flame Tongue Totem, but at the same time, I just noticed I made a mistake already. See, the thing is with the Flame Tongue Totem card, when you play it, anything that is adjacent to the card gets the damage bonus. Now, the thing about it is, I placed it on the left side of the taunt. Anytime I bring out any sort of totem, the totem always appears on the right side of your hand. So, if next turn, for instance, I decide to play out another totem, well, that totem is not going to be getting the damage bonus. Like, I might have been assuming maybe that down the next turn, since I had 4 mana, might have to bring out one of my 4 mana cards. But I mean, really, between these cards, there's nothing that I would have wanted to play right then immediately. I guess maybe the mage to give it plus spell power, but um, yeah. So as far as placement goes, right there, there's already one small mistake on my end. And boom, we just got some major information on this guy just from that turn. He got hit for 5 damage. There's a Flame Tongue Totem that is buffing things that come out on the board, and his only play was to armor up. That tells me that, again, he definitely has nothing that he wants to play right now. Like, he could have cleaved both of those. He could have used Whirlwind on both of those things to try to DPS it down. He could have tried to bring out a weapon at this point, because there should be a 3/2 weapon that he should be able to pull out if he had it on that turn in order to attack one of those items. But he didn't. All he did was armor up, so that tells me that he has no cards to play, and it's time to be very aggressive. And there's that little mistake coming back to bite me already. See, because I ended up getting a spell. I didn't want to use either one of my spell breakers because there was nothing to silence out on the board. So I ended up having to use another totem. And now that I have this totem out, it's not doing its full potential damage because I put the Flame Tongue totem in the wrong spot. So, see, small mistakes start to add up. Okay, so let's go back and look at what happened that turn with the warrior, because there was a lot of things going on there. So again, he didn't play any cards, and there was no sort of aggression against me. All he did really was sort of clear the board, and he did it in a really big way. The first big way is the fact that he used Mortal Strike, which does 4 straight damage if he's not badly hurt. It'll go up to 6 if he's really low on health. That's usually like a big desperation one that you want to hold on to until later in the game so you can do a lot of big damage in case there's something really big on the board. He decided to use it right away because of the pressure that I'm putting on him. And I mean, when it comes down to decisions, this was a bad one. He decided to use it on my heroic taunt, which, I mean, that's just 2 mana that can randomly pop right back up if I decide to use it right on the next turn. If anything, especially since it's 4 flat damage, he should have used it on the Flame Tongue Totem because that was buffing the shield to begin with. If you get rid of this, there's no damage coming from the shield, so it's useless and I can't attack with it. So that right there was already a really big play. The second one is that he used Inner Rage to knock out my attacking my 1/1 totem, which I mean that's arguable. I mean, usually with the warrior decks, you want to keep that with like a card that has like a charge on it or some sort of proc where if they take damage, then they have like a special effect that pops in. So then you can just take plink 1 damage off of them. It procs it, and then it gets a damage bonus on top of it. But he decided to use it again on my heroic totem. So I mean, those are 2 really big mistakes because he used 2 really good cards to basically get rid of cards that do not cost me really anything except 2 mana when I had nothing to play anyways. Okay, it's turn 5. His side is completely clear, and I have a Flame Tongue Totem out. So really the smart play at this point would probably just to play the Ancient Mage, but knowing me, I'm sure I probably just kept it in my hand because I'm like, oh, I need 2 totems on both sides or something so I can get +2 spell power from both. So I'm betting I ended up just putting out another totem, which again would I consider that another small mistake because really all that's giving him information that I also don't have anything to play. So it would have been better just to put out the Ancient Mage. So right there, as soon as the coin pops out, red light immediately goes off of my head, and the reason being that he just spent 3 mana for the Magma Rager, so that left him with 2, and then he needed to use a coin, so that's giving him 3 extra mana. And in a warrior's case, that usually means that they're going to put charge on whatever card that is, so it can just attack this round, which means I'm looking at about 7 damage from the thing right off the bat. Okay, so turn 6, I finally get a low mana card. Hooray! And I have a few options here. I could either play a 6 mana Fire Elemental, which can do 3 damage, so that'll instantly kill his card, and I would have a 6/5 on the board, which would get boosted up to a 8/5, which would be a really big threat to him. Or I could Frost Shock that card to kill it. That would only cost 1 mana, and then that would leave me 5 to play around with. So I could bring out an Acidic Ooze and an Ancient Mage. Or I could Spell Break it, which would drop it back down to 5 attack, and then I would still have I could still Frost Shock it after that, and then I would still have board presence, I guess. But really, the smartest play would just be to bring out the Flame Elemental. You know, as much as it'd be nice to hit him with 3 damage to the face, it's easier just to put the 3 damage on to remove that card, and then have an 8/5 out on the board. Okay, this is kind of the calm before the storm here because he has a lot of damage getting ready to come his way. So if he has any sort of removal, anything at all, he's going to have to play it, and soon. Again, going back to making decisions in matches, when you have a charge character who does 5 damage and you are looking at another card who has 8 damage and only 5 health, you would think that you'd either want to take out that 8 damage card with the 5, or you would want to go take out the Flame Totem, which would lower its overall damage. Me personally, I would have used it on the Flame Elemental, but him just immediately going straight down to attack me straight on tells me that he doesn't really have anything, and he's just trying to win as fast as possible. Okay, with another Flame Elemental in my hand now, the best thing to probably do to maximize my potential damage here is to use my free totem to slam into the Rocketeer since it has 3 attack to kill it, and then I'm basically not losing anything, and then I should play the Flame Elemental and then hit him for 3 damage with that, and then hit him for 8 damage with the other Elemental. So then I have 2 8 damage NPCs on the board staring him down for the next round. Which usually, in most cases, at that point, people usually just end up just straight up conceding because, I mean, there's not much that they can do unless he has a whirlwind and then 2 executes that he can just pull out right then. Which, I mean, I'm not gonna take that out as an option that's not going to happen because I mean it is Hearthstone and sometimes you do top deck like that. But overall, usually it's probably that sort of move is something that'll just make people concede.
What to do?
And I completely messed it up. Instead, I just summoned out the Flame Elemental, put it down in front of the Flame Totem, and then completely forgot about the Searing Totem until after I attacked. See, so again, that was a big error on my part because that Searing Totem lost out on 2 potential damage it could have done, and I lost out on 2 potential damage that I could have done to the Warrior this round. And with this long pause on the warrior side, he is currently looking through all of his cards to see if he can possibly come up with any sort of combination to try to clear the board. And if he can't come up with anything, probably just concede. Okay, and that's a win. As you can see, like there's a lot of decisions that you have to make whenever you're out there with your cards. Now, it looked like the warrior wasn't really drawing very well with the way that he wasn't playing anything, but the cards that he did draw, he wasn't making very good decisions with. I mean, I didn't make some good decisions with mine, but mine were minor like damage decisions. With his, he kind of cost himself the game early because he should have taken out like my flame totem sooner, and he should have charged that guy into my flame elemental to take it out. You know, just to sacrifice it because that would have helped him stay in the game longer, and maybe he would have drawn the cards that he was looking forward to. Well, we'll try this again with another deck next time. See you guys later.